All right, all right, all right. We are hopefully live. If anyone is in the room right now,
We're a little late.
give us a shout. Yeah, we're a tad bit late. Someone was in the bathroom doing a little bit of makeup to cover up a little something special. Just gonna address the elephant in the room before we get going. If you look closely at Justin's lip, his upper lip did take a little bit of a rough night last night following an emphatic win. Do you
Yeah,
want to tell us about that at all?
I have nothing really to say. It was internal. It was nothing with Austin fans. So it was just all
No.
internal at the house. Late night, fell over. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a war wound.
I
think.
think the swelling's going down.
Yeah, it's looking okay. It's looking okay.
Doesn't look bad.
Hey Iris, see you coming in from Dusseldorf. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to everyone for joining. This is Ball Watching STL, our first recap of wow. what a first night this was for us in Austin FC. But before we dig into everything, first of all, what we're gonna do one thing actually to start, Justin. You know, recaps. We do the five-a-sides. We do some fun stuff here, but I think for this, let's start our whole agenda today, which we'll get into the highlights and lowlights and all the fun stuff you guys want to hear about. But a one-word summary. If you had one word to describe this game, this feeling that you were left with after this first experience, what would you use?
Yeah, new segment for us.
Yeah,
we're doing just on recaps now. Five sides. My word. We did this to expand my vocabulary, knowing that it's not very long or not very extensive. Obviously,
we're working on it.
Those words that I'm using are obviously trash. But the word that I would use for this game, Jake, it's not that deep, and I didn't want to go that deep because this game was so electric. My word is sexy. That was a sexy game. City looked hot. They were exciting. I mean, the people in Austin were sexy. That's all I got.
Okay.
That's everything.
Sexy.
Yeah.
That's a good
sexy.
Start. That's a good start.
Sexy start to the season.
Okay. I'm going to one up you. I think like I tend to do in the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Area,
you can do that in the vocabulary. The five side taking L's.
My word is going to be elated. I am elated because of many things, but absolutely over the moon that we were able to come away with a win. Neither of us predicted that in our predictions, which we'll get into. But it was a dream start for this team. And I think it just kind of wrapped everything that we've experienced in the build up to this, everything we've experienced the last couple of years and all the failure with Prop 2 and everything to get a team to St. Louis and then to play our first game and to have it end that way. I don't think the scriptwriters could do any better than what they just did. No. So I'm elated. I'm pumped. It's absolutely incredible that we just started our first season doing that.
We will get into the details, but I already told a lot of my friends last night was the number 2 sporting event I've ever been to in person. Number 1, PGA Championship in St. Louis. This is number 2. Number 1, I'm already having a very solid placeholder for is next Saturday.
Oh my God, yeah.
But in person, Austin absolutely killed it. We'll get into all the details, but they did very well with the pregame. They did very well with the game. We killed them in the game. We talked a lot of shit. Absolutely phenomenal. Setting to go into.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into the game. We've talked a little bit about it already, but we're going to get into some recap, do some highlights, lowlights, maybe moment of the game, talk about some specific players and get into a review of our predictions and the Graham review. If you guys went across the border to Illinois or you were in a state with legal betting and wanted to make some money, because I think we made some for y'all. And we'll kind of wrap it up with some listener questions. So I'm seeing some flow in, so we'll definitely get to them. Thank you all for tuning in here. But highlights. Highlight for me, a couple initial things to cover. And I think for me, one of the most impressive things that I wasn't exactly expecting off the bat from us was how we were able to counter effectively when we were able to press and make them lose the ball or dispossess them, just through solid defense or win a ball in the air and go forward. We looked pretty good going forward. I thought that was a pretty good start and get some good footing in attack. And more specifically, I think our midfield was phenomenal. Like, their midfield is really good in my opinion, Austin FC, and we kind of neutralized a lot of their stars. So, and it was tough to see Vasilev go out so early, and I wonder how the game would have gone had he not. But Blum and Leuven, I mean, they got they got the keys to Austin in their back pocket.
It was very odd to me. The one thing that I did not appreciate as much is seeing these games live. I've been watching a lot of soccer on TV recently. Obviously, not just recently, just in person. But you don't get the replays. So when like someone goes down like Vasilev, if you're not eyeing him specifically, very tough to understand like, oh shit, like what happened to him. And so having him go down was extremely detrimental. At least I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to fumble. I mean, they had a center back but go down and Kip Keller came in. Shout out Kip. We'll talk about you later. I apologize.
Yeah.
But I do think I agree with Jake. I think we absolutely owned them in the midfield. There was every play. They did not play through us. They were playing on their wings alone, and we played through them the entirety of the game.
We did. And another thing that I thought was really impressive, and some of those same guys, like we already mentioned, Leuven, the set pieces were incredible. And we already kind of saw that in preseason who our guys would be that were taking those. So corners, free kicks, we looked dangerous. We scored off. Our first goal was off a corner. And for a team that's going to play like we're going to play, that's your money maker right there. Is the set pieces you've got to be able to convert. And to have that happen as our first goal is pretty funny. And to know that we're going to be dangerous from set pieces, that's good for any team. And to already start in that sort of fashion, it's incredible. So set piece is another big thing for me. I think our subs had a great impact coming on the field as well. It was great to see Miggy Perez literally signing 3 days ago.
Yes.
17 years old. I don't know what you were doing at 17, but I most certainly was not playing professional soccer.
I was eating a lot of chips. I was sleeping a lot. I think I was a junior in high school. So
you still do that.
Well, we don't. Yeah, no. I maybe did it more then, but the trend continues.
In case you all are hearing this win pickup, we are live in Austin still, having a little Sunday fun day celebrating this W. Cheers.
Yeah, we were.
Cheers.
Cheers. We picked up 4 Loco at the gas station. That was fun.
But I think the subs were impactful. It was great to see Celio come on, and obviously the injury to Vasilev forced Blum on earlier than I think it sounds like the coaching staff wanted to get him on for, but he didn't look out of the ordinary. He looked incredible coming in to play as well. And my biggest takeaway for us is that we generated some really, really quality chances, and then we made them pay. We made them pay when we had to. I mean, Jared Stroud was gifted that second goal, but hey, don't take anything away from him. He put that away. No doubter. The third goal from Klaus, just brilliance. The guy is on his last leg. Looks like he's about to keel over, and he does an outside of the boot finish. I mean, like,
if you guys haven't looked at it, go on YouTube, look for the highlights. That goal, I would say all the goals in the game, to be completely honest, even Austin's goals were dirty. Except, I mean, Jared Stroud, that was gifted to us, which I want you to talk on in a second. But the Klaus goal at the end of the game, crossed up Kip, and then did a little outside of the footer, just right in the side of the net. Oh my God.
We talk about
in the 86th minute. It was absurd.
It was absurd. I mean, I'm trying to think of other highlights. I mean, it's hard to, I was trying to think of lowlights. There's not many. I'd say the first thing for me is the injury to Vasilev. I hope he's not seriously hurt. I don't think he was. I think it was a head thing from what we could see in the stadium. So maybe just concussion protocol and being conservative there.
The one low light I would say, Jake, it was an incredible touch by Drusi.
Yeah.
Over the top, with the ball over the top
on their first.
But Roman Berkey was kind of in no man's land. Unfortunately, not to his fault. He was in great position to block a shot, but Drusi's touch to bring it right there and then chip him. That's a low light for me. It took the wind out of our sails.
It did.
That place, I mean, Austin was absolutely vibing. I cannot get over how well they did getting the atmosphere up and everything. And even when we scored, the place was electric. We had the fans, we had the Lugans right above us, but when he got chipped, it was very hard. It
was right before halftime. You can't let in a goal right before halftime.
No, we got to get to half and be up, and that sucks. But
you learn. You learn.
It's a coaching moment. Nothing Roman. He was in great position. That's just a hell of a finish and a hell of a touch.
It was a good finish. I think I personally would like to see him either come for it or stay back and not get caught kind of in the middle there. But that's a learning experience, even for a guy like him. And it's a coaching moment for Carnell and the staff to say, hey, we've got to step on their throats in this first half. We cannot let them tie it up like that after having a great performance. So that was a little bit of a negative. The only other things I can kind of think of is I feel like we kind of lost some steam in the first half of the second half. I think they kind of got to us and got the better of the play. They kind of got into a rhythm. We still weathered the storm. I mean, they did get their second goal, but it could have been worse. And we kept ourselves in the game long enough to get the equalizer and then to get the winner. So kind of a low light there. The only other thing I kind of want to keep an eye on and watch is I look for things like body language and team chemistry and people throwing hands up or frustration. How do they handle that? I was seeing a little bit of that from Klaus. I don't know what you were seeing, and I'm not going to say he's a guy like that or he's always going to be like that, but I did see some body language sometimes that I just want to make. I hope it doesn't continue like that, or maybe that's just him and he wears his heart in his sleeve, and the players know that. But just something to kind of keep an eye on, I think.
We saw that more than just a little bit, and that was a little frustrating to me. Even, the Austin fans were seeing it. Joao, if you look at Joao's goal, or even when Stroud scored that goal, he didn't even look that excited. He bent over and stretched his hamstring. It's can you get a little bit of excitement and stop being so focused on what you're doing in the play? And he's going to be our main guy, so it's hard to really go against him there. But it was upsetting to see that we need to kind of contain that, especially in the first game for these guys.
I agree. And we're getting some comments on here, and we'll get to the questions at the end. But I saw this and I agreed. City, they looked good. They were very easy on the eye. I'd say fluid is a great way to describe how they looked last night. They just looked like they belonged and they had some chemistry between them and they knew what they were doing. And that's kind of what you're going to get when you bring a system to the forefront versus the stars. So I think that made total sense. Blum was an absolute beast. Like we said, he walked out of the stadium and they had to flag him for security, and he was detected for having their midfield in his pocket. So
that was
it was Jesus, definitely a good night for him. Klaus's goal was a thing of beauty. You need those moments like just individual moments of brilliance that he had, and I'm glad he brought it for us to get us the W. So going to moments of the game, I think for us, I think that was the moment of the game because I was pretty happy when we got Jared Stroud's equalizer, and in that manner, I was like, well, let's get out of here with this point. That was my prediction too. So I'm like, I'm gonna be on. And then that goal came out of nowhere. It was a great ball from Giacchini, and Klaus just every last he got taken off right after that goal. I think he scored and he literally got off the field. It was every last bit of him.
We put Josh Yarrow in 88th minute.
Yep.
So Yarrow in for Klaus.
Unbelievable.
Our number one striker for our center back, and we got a picture with Yarrow.
Yep,
with Josh.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
the nicest guy. Shout out Josh.
Yeah,
incredible
dudes. That was their highlight actually too, is they stuck around. For anyone that was down by the field after the game, a couple of guys did come. Definitely, the whole team came in clapped off the fans, which is always great. The away contingent of us that came, but there were some guys that also just kind of stuck around and talked to people after. So we talked to Josh, we talked to Tim Parker, we talked to Jared Stroud as well. So very cool meeting these guys, and love to see them wanting to connect with the fans right away. This is the first time they're able to representing this team. But those are some of the, I think that's kind of the breakdown we can start with for now. I think generally no one on the team, when you think about ratings or how I think everyone stacked up, I think everyone did fairly well. I'm trying to think of standout performers. If I had to give one, I would say that my eye was most akin to Blum and Leuven. I think it was a game that was won in the midfield, and we really took it to them, and I was really happy about that. And those people, we came from overseas, Blum in South Africa and Leuven from the Bundesliga, and they didn't look a step off the pace. They looked like they belonged.
Not at all. I completely agree. I would say that we made Austin, which is a team that is known for their build-up, play through the wings. And we did not, the entirety of the game there was not a single part where I was like, oh, they're going to beat us to the middle.
Yeah.
They had to play long balls. They had to go down the wings. They had to do one-on-one, which we completely took care of, which I completely agree. I would say Blum, especially coming off the bench and just not, I thought he would have started, but being very surprised.
I'm thinking, did Berkey even have a save really in that game? He might have had a couple, but a big save.
So
did Berkey have a big thing that he was called on to do?
I'm
trying to think.
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at stats right now. Berkey didn't even have a save.
Yeah.
13 shots total for Austin, 2 on goal, 2 goals. But I will say, yes. And that's a lot to our defense. I would say there's both of the goals, I would not expect Roman to save.
Drusy brilliance in the first one, great team goal in the second one. Nothing. I don't think our defense was caught out on either of those. I think Berkey on the first one, and it was just Austin was the better team in that progression in that second goal.
I will say though, as far as we were we came with the energy drink soccer,
yeah, we did.
And we had 18 shots with 9 on goal, and we scored 3 of those. We absolutely dominated them when it came to to an offensive attack.
We did for sure. So let's move down past some of the player ratings. I don't think anyone else no one stood out as like, wow, I maybe want to see someone else come in next game because they didn't perform up to standard. I liked what I saw from our back line. I obviously loved our midfield, and then on the forward side, you got Klaus got his goal. I think Stroud looked good. I think Alm looked fine. I want to see more of Ostrak for sure. I think some of his moments on the ball, you can see how talented he is. So I want to see more flow through him. But otherwise, great team performance. So we'll keep kind of moving down. What do we have next in the agenda here, Justin? We have got to talk about. I know we want to get into some listener questions, but where do we go from here? How do we take this now? We are, like you see, we are podcast hosts for currently the number one team in MLS. If you look, actually, not I can't number one team in MLS Western Conference for sure. I don't know about the Eastern Conference results. If anyone scored more goals than
don't
us.
care. But
we're
number one
either. So we're number one in Western Conference at least right now, and I hope it stays that way. But when you think about realistic expectation setting moving forward, I think this game is a great linchpin to say, what a start, great foundation. Let's go build up from here. But I think if anything yesterday, take the result out of it. We proved that we can compete at a high level with a really good team with no games under our belt. Now imagine this team getting experience, getting time playing together and getting to gel and everyone kind of getting to know each other and their tendencies and connect. It's mouthwatering to think about how much better we could get and compare that to what we just saw yesterday.
I would say looking forward to our next game, which is our first home game.
Literally our next game.
Going to be absolutely electric. Jake said take the results out of it. I would say bring it with us.
Yeah,
these guys definitely are coming in so hot. Charlotte is not that good of a team. We actually were able to show that we are not the team like Jake said. We're not pulling out guys like, oh, he had a 9 out of 10 game. We are a chemistry team. We're looking for guys that are looking to gel. Yep. We're not looking for your Gareth Bale or Chicharito or guys like that. We are a team that is solid through and through. We're not looking for your one-off guys. And I am extremely excited to watch that. And the atmosphere coming into St. Louis, which we'll do a pregame for on Saturday, is going to be absolutely electric. A little Metro Boomin' Metro.
Yeah. So let me think. I only want to touch on one last thing. Two kind of controversial-ish things that I picked up from the game, and the first is I really do feel for Kip Keller. It was definitely a tough night and experience for him, having been thrown into the game to replace an injured center back very early on. Coming off the bench like that in a big role, never going to be easy. So he's a young guy and he has so much talent. We've seen that. We saw that at SLU. We saw that last year when he was on display at Austin. And I feel for him. It's a tough night.
Give them a little background on what you're seeing recently on social media. What's going on. So also background, Kip Keller graduated from St. Louis University. St. Louis, let's go Bills. Yeah. 5th overall pick by Austin last year. Came on and what was like the 15th minute. It was absurdly early. The 11th minute. So the man is not expecting to start. And as a center back, you're probably not expecting to even come in. Honestly, if you're not starting with a defender like that, you're not coming in to be like a spark plug or anything. Their center back went down. Kip came on. We were elated to see Kip come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And see. Yeah. Thank you. See a SLU guy come on, and very tough situation to be in. And then unfortunately, he was the result of our second goal.
He caused Jared Stroud's goal, the tie goal.
So tell me, give them a little background on what you're seeing. Also, it's kind of maybe some bullshit.
Well, yeah. So first, he's getting a lot of slander today in Austin in the media stuff, which is really sad. Like, you'd never want to bring down a player. Everyone has dark days like that. So I do feel for him, and I hope people can bring him up, and I'm sure his teammates will. But getting into the background of the actual thing itself. So the goal, Jared Stroud's goal, our second goal. If you watched on TV or you're there, basically they had, I think the goalkeeper had played it to Kip, or Kip had gotten the ball and was turning around to play it back to either his own defender or to the goalie. And when he did so, Jared Stroud had already been pressing the goalie, so he was still back there next to the goalie. And from what it looks like on the screen, we couldn't hear it, obviously. From what it looks like, and you've seen some pictures too going around online, that Jared kind of calls for the ball from Kip. And the story going around is that, well, they played last season together. Jared Stroud obviously came from Austin in a trade to us. And I think if that is heard by the referee, that is a yellow card, and obviously not great sportsmanship to be doing that. And so that familiarity people are thinking online, at least I was tapping into some of the Austin FC fandom people, and they were talking about how, he should have been caught doing that, and that Kip would have never passed him the ball had he not recognized his voice and maybe used like a nickname that like only Austin FC players would know and gotten the ball from him. You can kind of see Stroud like doing the hand motion to him when he's looking to pass the ball. And obviously Kip can't make that pass regardless. You got to know who you're passing the ball to. So I don't justify anything, but interesting, a very interesting situation.
Very tough, especially a guy that you've heard the voice of for your past year. This is Kip's second year in the MLS. And hearing Jared shout like, hey, Kip.
Yeah.
It's very tough. I mean, obviously, quick situation, hard to know. He needs to know that it's not obviously his play anymore. And you can see it immediately after he passed it. Literally left it after left his foot. He put his hands on it.
Such a bummer.
And it was so sad. Yeah. And I mean, Kip is still an incredible player and nothing else. I mean, he played an incredible game. Like I said, coming off the bench at the 11th minute and having to have just immediate mentality of, hey, I got to win our first game for this team on the first ever game versus an electric crowd. Very tough.
If I had a word to describe that one, I would say bittersweet. Tough to see it happen from a local boy, but happy to see it happen for our club. So,
but Kip, we love you. Yeah. That was sad. It's tough. You played an incredible game. Everything else, we love you.
Yeah, head up. Last thing we do before we get some questions: prediction review and Graham review. Prediction: Justin said 2-1. Loss. I said 2-2 draw, and we both were wrong. But we are both very happy to be wrong. I'm not very often feeling that way, but that was incredible. So us to get the win, I'm happy. So getting into our predictions, though, Justin, you had.
I will say
both teams to score was our lock?
I will say the Graham. If we're doing a review, he said we're gonna keep me honest. Minus 125. Both teams to score. I hope you absolutely threw your 401k on it because that smacked early. First half. Us scoring first was huge. And then there were some other bets that
we did some insider
that we did on the side, not putting it on the podcast, but we felt like we knew more than Vegas did, which is probably the first.
Everyone feels like they know more than Vegas, but we actually did yesterday.
We actually did yesterday. Yes. First and last time that'll happen. But Joao Klaus anytime was what? Plus 340.
Yeah.
We hammered that.
Money.
We also took the over 2.5 goals. That was Jake's favorite bet. He didn't say it on the pod. Sorry. Big Lambo going by. Over 2.5 goals, minus 155. Jake hammered that. But I would say so literally the three bets that we did and we hammered as a group down here. I think what did we parlay? We parlayed both teams score anytime and 2.5 plus 116. The whole group we're here with cashed, and we're
heading home a little richer. I mean,
a little richer
with a win under the belt and richer.
Shout out Jake's dad. He took City straight up money line.
Yeah,
plus 500.
Very, very bold. Yeah, he won $500.
He threw 100 down at a plus 500 and absolutely smashed that. So that was exciting.
Let's get into some listener stuff. So I'm getting to the comments here first. We see on the stream. So James tuning in with many who made Christmas Eve reference on Friday, described the level of anticipation, which by the way was literally like, how tension you can cut it with a knife. I want to do the same thing, but for excitement, because St. Louis was buzzing. Like the airport was crazy. We were wearing city gear and everyone's asking questions like, where's the game going to be streamed on? And how do I watch it? When's our first game here? So it was Christmas Eve and Christmas Day was yesterday, but I almost think we're getting another Christmas. It'll be even bigger next weekend. So definitely Merry Christmas to us.
I would call this Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Little appetizer.
How do you not call Christmas Eve Metro Boomin and Anderson Paak? Yep. Sorry, maybe I'm talking with that one. Like I've been a long day.
Been a long day.
Yes, I would say that Thanksgiving was the game we just had. Incredible, awesome. Fair. Christmas Eve is next Friday. Metro Boomin and Anderson Paak. If you don't have tickets, get around the stadium. You're going to be able to hear it. It's going to be electric. Game day, Christmas Day.
We've got, and James, you also said incredible memory for everyone, but for a 50-year-old sports fanatic who's witnessed some epic moments for sure, this will be forever special. Yeah, we thought so too. I definitely got a little emotional on the lead up and hearing the anthem and realizing that this is it. This is the thing we've been dreaming about and waiting for so long, and it will be etched into our minds forever. And next weekend's another opportunity to do that same thing and maybe even do it up even more. So very, very excited for that.
I completely agree. I think we already talked about it, but the atmosphere at the stadium and around the stadium for Austin, they absolutely killed it. And it felt like Christmas morning for me. When we were sitting down, everything they did, the lights, everything, it was just absolutely electric. And I could not be more excited for this weekend.
Yeah. Another quote. What's up, boys? What's up? Austin fans not seem like they were happy with their play. Yeah, I don't think it was the best game, but I also don't think it was necessarily because they just didn't bring it. I think we had a good game plan and we executed it well against them. So I don't think Austin just lost the game. I don't think they just played awful. I think we won it. We had a better plan and we executed it better.
I would say also the one thing they definitely blundered was Zardas's behind the heel trying to make a cool goal. You're not good anymore. You had a great career, but dude, just put the ball away. He probably should have finished that goal on us, and I will never say that we should have. Like I don't want to give them any credit, but he tried to do a little back behind the heel flick, absolutely missed the entire goal. If he puts it just on his front foot, that's probably a goal 6 times out of 10. So might as well put it on goal and see what they can do.
Yeah, and I agree. The best goal to me was the Stroud shot that didn't count. I didn't get to see the review or the replay. Yeah,
I still haven't seen that. Can someone please, if you're watching live or anybody, please send us a DM. I don't understand how what would have been second goal happened. That's the one thing
that was nuts.
When we're watching live, like we're like, holy shit, that goal was incredible. And then they called it back for a foul. And I didn't even see the foul live, obviously, but I didn't see it. I haven't seen it on replay or anything. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. That's messed up. Yep. I don't really understand how we didn't get that. So if anybody could please send us a link, that'd be extremely helpful because I'm still bitter about that.
So some last things. Yeah, each of the 3 goals were really unique, which was cool to think about. That you can think about them very easily because they all were very special.
Every goal was actually like very well played, except for obviously the ball from Kip to Stroud. But I would say everybody else. So. I mean, especially the outside of the hook from Joao Klaus. That was so dirty in the 86th minute. Little put away. But everything else was, I mean, besides the one that got played from Kip, everything else was a great goal.
Last couple questions we have here are, it seems like we were a little bit unlucky to get up in the first half, and I'm getting these from Twitter. This is from Tim. Any worries about long-term fitness, or is this just a byproduct of the boys getting their land legs under them? Also, thoughts on the team nickname of Dogs of War. I did not see Dogs of War, but I kind of like that. We are definitely some dogs out there for sure, working our tails off, wagging our tails off, maybe. And I'm not worried about the fitness. I definitely think this is our style is one that does take its toll on people, but a lot of these guys have already played in this type of style before, so they should be able to maintain this, hopefully. And that's also managed by the fitness director and Jared Phillips, who we're looking at chatting with at some point here, and we'll talk more about that specifically. But how about this? Give me your take on this. Jared Stroud, obviously coming from ATX, how big of a chip on his shoulder do you think he got taken off last
I would
night?
say, honestly, dude, I was surprised. I kind of had Jared Stroud lower on my list of we talked about it on the other podcast, the 80. It's like, who would be our guy that we'd probably sub out and not be a starter? We kind of thought Jared. I'd take it back completely. Yeah, the man showed up, especially in the hardest. That is so hard to make your debut for a team against the team that you literally used to play for last year, and he showed up. So Jared absolutely killed it last night. I'll also say one thing we've gotten from Adam on Instagram. He goes, "How good was Blum? Great or amazing?" And Adam, shout out to you. Thank you for calling us out when we saw you at the pregame down here. That
great talking to a couple of you all. It was really dope to see everyone and talk about City and actually meet you all face to face.
Yes, that was awesome. And I would say when you say how great was he, great or amazing, I thought Blum was amazing.
Yeah,
the man came in, stepped into a spot where he also didn't start, and calmed the nerves and showed what literally what we brought him here for, and played soccer. And we owned that midfield with him and with Leuven, Edu Leuven. So I'm extremely proud of him, and thank you, Adam, for meeting up.
Yeah. We're almost at 30 minutes here, so we'll let you all go here in a second. But overall, what a performance. What a night. Big victory with, what's hopefully to be another one following next week. I mean, the home opener against Charlotte didn't have a great season. I think if any of these 2 games are winnable, that one that coming up is the most winnable. So Charlotte is going to be one that I think we're going into chomping at the bit to get another 3 points and get to 6 very quickly. So I'm looking forward to the home atmosphere, man. It's going to be an incredible weekend.
If you don't have tickets, please try to get them. And if you can't, be around the stadium.
Go downtown.
Downtown is going to be absolutely electric. We're going to be down there probably pretty much from like 2 p.m. on. Game's not until what, 7?
Yeah, 7:30.
Also, we'll talk about Graham and everything like that, but I will absolutely probably be putting my life savings on City to win this game. I don't think Charlotte's that good, and also our team looks amazing. So get ready to absolutely make money.
Demolish. All right, so that's all we have for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully this is a little fun, little live out in the nature
This
live
weather is
stream.
incredible. I think I might move.
If you haven't already, shoot us a follow on Twitter, on Instagram at ballwatchingstl. We're getting a lot of new people in the door, so it's awesome to see new faces and interact and talk about the club and get everyone excited for what's going to be an incredible freaking weekend coming up in a couple days.
Metro!
We'll talk to y'all on probably Wednesday for a quick primer on Charlotte and get into the details. But until then, Ball Watching signing off.